A very warm welcome. This is Africa Good Morning, a show that keeps you abreast with the latest happenings across the continent and beyond every weekday morning. In today's broadcast, Tanzania clamped down on opposition rally and arrest leaders. Uganda searches for survivors after deadly landfill collapse, and Sudan's government says it will not take part in US-backed peace talks. My name is Aina Raizakweyo and I will be your host this morning. You can follow all our programs on our website, which is called oneupto.com, or DSTV 285 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. Shortly after the break, we bring you our top stories, so please do stay with us.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In our top stories this morning, police in Tanzania have detained opposition leaders and rounded up several hundred supporters as they halted a planned rally. Leaders of the opposition Chadema party, including former presidential candidate Tundu Lissu, were arrested on Monday in the southwestern city of Mbeya, a party official announced on X. The police had previously banned the rally, claiming that violence was planned. The Tanzanian police action comes amid a wave of protests that have swept other parts of sub-Saharan Africa in recent weeks, including nearby Kenya and Uganda. Chadema's Director of Communications and Foreign Affairs, John Rema, said that the arrests were made as the party was due to hold a rally to mark International Youth Day. About 500 youth supporters were also detained while making their way to the event. The Mbeya police have arrested all leaders who were in the offices of Chadema in Nyasa region, including Honorable Tundu Lissu, Honorable John Nyika, the Honorable Joseph Mbilinyi, and the leader of the Youth Council and those of the party. This is according to the police. Chadema leader Freeman Mbowe said he strongly condemns the arrest of his deputy Lissu and other youth leaders and called for their immediate and unconditional release. Moving over to our next story, efforts to rescue survivors from a landslide at a massive garbage dump in Kampala continue, with the death toll rising to 21. Heavy rainfall caused the Kitezi landfill to bury homes as residents slept. The government has initiated an investigation into the cause and has vowed to take action against any official found negligent. At least 14 people have been rescued. President Yoweri Museveni extended his condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones, saying that living near the landfill is a misguided choice. He has directed the State House to provide $1,300 for each deceased individual and $270 for those injured during the Kitezi landfill tragedy. However, he clarified that this compensation does not include any potential legal reparations from the government. Kitezi landfill, the only waste disposal site in Kampala, has become a point of contention for residents who frequently raised concerns about hazardous waste contaminating the environment and threatening their safety. Sudan's army-backed government said on Sunday it would not attend the U.S.-sponsored peace talks due to get under peace talks to get underway in Switzerland this week, reducing hopes of ending the civil war. A Sudanese government delegation held discussions over the weekend with the U.S. in Saudi Arabia's city of Jeddah regarding the invitation to the Geneva negotiations. However, it stopped short of closing the door on taking part in the negotiations to end 15 months of fighting between the army and the paramilitary rapid forces. The government has sought assurance that discussions would focus on implementing the existing Jeddah agreement signed in May to facilitate humanitarian actions to meet the needs of civilians. It also said the government should be represented by all its components, not just the military, and rejected the participation of any new observers or facilitators. The U.S. has reportedly described the talks as primary military, aimed at achieving a ceasefire and facilitating humanitarian aid. Moving over to our next story, MDM presidential candidate Simango accuses President Nyusi of poor governance. The presidential candidate, supported by the Democratic Movement of Mozambique, Lutero Simango, has said the country has been poorly governed during the 2 terms of the current head of state, Filipe Nyusi, accusing him of being responsible of the social tension in the country. When governance is poorly done, the governance does not meet the expectations of the population. When governance does not solve the basic problems of the population, we are experiencing strikes here and strikes there, Simango said, who also led the 3rd largest party in the country, and says in an interview with Lusam. Simango, who is a candidate to succeed Filipe Nyusi in the general election of the 9th of October, pointed out that the country is facing health crises where he says there is a lack of medicine and education in overcrowded classes and discontent among teachers, situations that have led to strikes or threats of the public sector. This is the result of poor governance. This is the result of government's inability to meet the basic needs of the population, he said. The president of MDM argued that Mozambique Liberation Front has shown itself powerless to meet the need of the Mozambican population since the country's independence in 1975. Now moving over to our next story, Kenya's main aviation union said it would call a strike from next Monday over a proposed deal with an Indian company to develop the country's biggest airport, industrial action that could cause major disruption in the East African travel hub. The Kenya Aviation Workers, which represents airport workers, said the proposed agreement announced last month with India's Indani Airport Holding would lead to job losses and bring in non-Kenyan workers. It called on the government to scrap what it referred to as the unlawful intended sale of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Adani Airport Holdings of India in a 7-day strike notice issued on Monday. Kenya's government has said the airport is not for sale and that no decision had made on whether to proceed with what it called a proposed public-private partnership or an upgraded hub. He repeated a call for the entire board of the Kenya Airports Authority to resign. The KAA confirmed on Monday that it had received a strike notice. We are hopeful that a resolution can be reached through negotiation, spokesperson Elia Maino said. The authority has said Adani would add a second runway at Jikia and upgrade the passenger terminal. Kenya Airways executive Alana Kalivuka did not respond to the request for comments. After the break, we return with an interview after the break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhom.com.na.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
During a press conference at the Okahanja Municipality Councillor's Chamber, Mayor Beatrice Kotungodo announced the installation of 3,583 prepaid meters in residential areas across Okahanja. Notably, 404 of these meters were installed for senior citizens and vulnerable children who received social grants, underscoring the municipality's commitment. The installations were done at no cost. Have a look.
Layout and procurement of a consultant for a new cemetery stands as a testament to our commitment to the well-being of our residents. Services. About 3,585 prepaid water meters were installed for residential areas around Okahanja, of which 404 prepaid meters were installed for senior citizens and vulnerable children that are receiving social grants. I would just like to mention that these installations were done free of charge. These prepaid meters were not bought by anybody. So Kotumondo cannot eat anything because nothing was paid for. It was free of charge. Equally, 3 prepaid water vending machines were installed at 3 service stations for easy and convenience of the residents. Now we must understand that it is a new project that we have packed on the vending machines. Sometimes they work, sometimes they do not work. We understand your frustration. We also sit with the same frustration. Then we call George and we call everybody else and we've tried to find out what is happening to these vending machines, but it is a work in progress. At least we do not have to wait for Monday when the municipality is closed on Friday. Saturday and Sunday we can still have access to buying of prepaid water meters. We have constructed, together with the AB InBirth Brewery, 2 elevated water tanks, one in the river here. They are physically available for you to see. One in Oshetu 1. Now these
Moving over to some tragic news, Namibian Sun reporter Tuemo Haidula visited the homestead of the pastor at Ombogo village in the Otsandi constituency in Omsati region, who allegedly raped and impregnated his 15-year-old daughter. The girl has since given birth to a now 2-month-old baby boy. The Mission Work Ministry pastor is on the run and the police have requested for public assistance in tracing him. He is suspected to be hiding in the Oshana region. Have a look.
Good afternoon, viewers. We are coming to you all the way from Ombogo village in Omsati region. We are at the homestead of the pastor who's been accused of allegedly raping his 15-year-old stepdaughter and impregnating her. Please do follow us. This is the Mission Work Ministry Church in Sandy Village in Omsati region, where a 30-year-old pastor allegedly raped his 15-year-old stepdaughter. This is where the pastor preaches from. when his congregants are congregating to listen to him. The pastor has gone AWOL for the past couple of days, and his congregants have not heard from him, as the police in Umsati region is seeking public assistance to trace the whereabouts of this pastor. He is alleged to have raped his 15-year-old stepdaughter for a lengthy period of time at unknown time and date last year, which led to a pregnancy. The daughter now has a 2-month-old baby boy.
Let's have a look at the weather predictions for today across Southern Africa. In our economic news this morning, Dangote Refinery and others increased crude oil demand to 597,700 barrels per day amid supply shortages. Nigerian refineries have increased their domestic crude oil requirements for the second half of 2024 to 597,700 barrels per day, up from 483,000 barrels per day in the first half. This comes despite tight domestic supply. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission reported that it could only secure 177,777 barrels per day from the oil producers during the first 6 months of the year, significantly below the refiners' requested amount, and this is according to Reuters. The refineries' increasing crude requirement, coupled with oil producers' difficulties in meeting demands, have created tension between the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote Refinery and the national regulator. The Dangote Refinery has accused the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulator Commission for failing to enforce a law that mandates oil producers to supply domestic refiners. Now, moving over to our next story. The Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Khoincho Ramakgopa, told the media on Monday that the country's power grid is expected to strengthen by more generating units by the end of August. We are expecting Medupi Unit 4 to give us 800 megawatts and to fire up Kusile Unit 6, which is another 800 megawatts, he explained. We are hoping to get an extension of the life of Kubet Unit 2, and we are not complacent. We are doing everything by the book, and we are still optimistic about getting that extension of life, and it will give us an additional 980 megawatts, the minister added. And now let's have a look at our economic indicators.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news and starting off with Olympic Games. It was the Olympic Games that closed on Sunday. It was 2 weeks of action and a very successful Olympic Games that was hosted by Paris in France. United States of America, they got the most medals. They were the most successful team at the Olympics. They achieved 126 medals in total, 40 of them gold. And then also China in second place, 91 medals in total, and they also have 40 gold. In third and fourth position, very close, Great Britain got 65 medals and France, the host, got 64 medals, and France did well. They also have 16 gold medals to show. And then Southern African interest, it was South Africa that ended up with 6 medals, and there was 1 gold in there, and that was in the swimming. It was Tatiana Smith that got gold and silver. She got gold for the 100-meter breaststroke. So great performance by the South African team, 6 gold. The next Olympic Games in 2028 will be in the United States of America. It will be hosted in Los Angeles. It will start on the 14th of July 2028. On to tennis news. It was a National Bank, it's still a National Bank Open, the Canadian Open, they also call it, that's being played at the moment. It is finals on Tuesday. In the men's semi-finals, it was firstly Alexei Popyrin. He is from Australia. He beat Sebastian Korda of United States. He beat him in 3 sets to be through, in 2 sets rather, to be through to the final. And in the final, he will play against Andrei Rublev of Russia, and he beat Matteo Arnaldi of Italy by 6-4 and 6-2 to advance to the final. That is the Canadian Open. In the women's side of the draw, it will be Jessica Pegula that play in the final against Amanda Anisnova, and it was in the semi-finals Jessica Pegula of United States. She's a 3rd seed. She played against the 14th seed Diane Schneider of Germany. She beat her 6-4 and 6-4 to advance to the final. And in the other semi-final, it was Amanda Anisnova that beat the 8th seed Emma Navarro of United States by 6-3, 2-6 and 6-2. It is Anisnova that is unseeded in the tournament, and so the finals of both men and women will be played on Tuesday. That's the Canadian Open. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is cricket news. South Africa currently touring the West Indies in cricket. The first 5-day test ended in a draw, and that was played in Trinidad at the Queen's Park Oval. Lots of rain from day one. It is currently rain season in the West Indies, so it's a bit controversial, these games being organised in the rain season in the West Indies. But it was a draw in the end. It was the West Indies set 298 to win in their 4th innings, and they ended with 201 for 5 at close of play on day 5. So it ended in a draw. The next test will start on Thursday. That will be played in Guyana, and also there's rain predicted throughout the 5 days. That is the Proteas playing against the West Indies. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Africa Good Morning. Tomorrow, same time, same place.